Hello tankers! Today we will be delving into the history and the origins of the Type 59, a near legendary tank in the community forums for World of Tanks Blitz. And we're going to see why and if it's actually worth buying since it has such a really high, steep price tag of $50. The first vehicles were produced in 1958, and this tank was accepted into service in 1959, with serial production beginning in 1963. Over 10,000 of these tanks were produced by the time production ended in 1980, with approximately 5,500 serving with the Chinese Armored Forces. This tank formed the backbone of the Chinese People's Liberation Army until the near 2000s, with an estimated 5,000 of the later Type 59-1 and Type 59-2 variants in service in 2002. The Type 59 was modified several times with reactive armor and a different gun, from a 100mm to 105mm rifle gun, and it was later the Chinese tank designated the Type 69 and Type 79 after some major differences were made. One time that everyone probably seen this on TV was during the Tiananmen Square revolt. The Chinese were protesting in Tiananmen Square. Here you see the famous man named Tank Man, who was later detained by the Chinese, stopping a whole row of tanks going in to stop the protesters. The Type 59 is really well known for its mobility, and here in this Chinese film you can see how fast this thing can churn. It does not quite show the same feature in Blitz, but it is still fairly mobile. Watch this drifting. It's like a Tokyo race car almost, but obviously it's not, it's a tank. Here it is in-game. It has a very green tint. No red star. I really wish they'd add camouflage. That would really add to this thing. You at first thought you'd be like, wow, it's like a T-54 with the rifle gun. And that's basically exactly what it is for all intents and purposes. Has a cool machine gun. The T-54 does not. Has a little bit less armor than the T-54. Has 1,300 hit points, which is kind of low. It has decent hull armor in front. Decent churn armor, but with some weak spots, which I will show you in a little bit. The weight is really low. Don't try to ram in this thing. The engine power is pretty high. Speed limit 56, though you're never almost going to reach that. The traverse speeds are off the charts. Standard shell damage, 210 to 350 is amazing. Now here I'm going to go ahead and pull up the T-54 just to show you exactly the difference. I'm not using the different gun, which would make it look a lot alike on the T-54. And just going around showing the back, it's basically the same vehicle, just with several different Chinese changes. Now, I recommend using single repair kit, multi-repair kit, and adrenaline because this is a premium vehicle and you want to earn credits. Improved combat rations will just waste it. Carry a healthy amount of APCR. I carry 7 rounds. You will need it. The penetration is a little low. And wet ammo rack. I just gotta say, I was hurt so many times before I had wet ammo rack, and I was blown up 3 times by an ammo rack detonation. It's really important you have that. The other 2 slots, you could either use vents or stabilizer. Both of those are really good options. Now we'll show you some weak spots. Inconveniently located in the front left is the ammo rack, which is why I use wet ammo rack, and it only has 142mm of armor protecting it. You also have your driver and your fuel tank. Your fuel tank can actually take a few shots. It seems to be relatively tough. Now the turret on both sides of the gun, really close as you can to the actual mantlet of the gun itself. There's about 200mm of armor, really easy to penetrate, and both driver hatches. However, if they look a little bit to the far left or the far right, you have to deal with 600mm of turret armor. This tank needs to be keeping on the move, and you have to properly angle your tank. Accurate guns will have no trouble damaging and penetrating this tank if they're not stock or if they're using armor-piercing composite rigid, which is why proper angling is key. Now take a look at the very front of this tank. See how it's shaded right there? That's about 400mm of armor. That's the angle you want to show the opponents if you peek around corners, which I'll be showing you in some actual gameplay. Remember, you want to try to hide that important stuff in the front by proper angling. Due to its speed and decent traverse, and not only traverse, what I mean by that is the gun depression, it's better than the T-54, you can use these rocks on the side to defend a point. Here I speed up the footage ×2, that way it doesn't bore you, and watch how decently I can defend this point against whoever comes up. Eventually the whole team comes here, including KB2, T-34, whoever else decides to show up, and as long as I just show them the turret and I try to keep my turret moving so they can't aim at the weak spots, I don't have to worry basically at all right here. Now the issue with this battle is that I didn't have a lot of team support, and eventually, even though I hold this point extremely well, I eventually get pwned. And they get me from all different sides, so you figure out that maybe I'm not the guy to attack and they attack other people instead. Meanwhile, I'm absolutely wrecking them every time I pop up and go back. Sad thing was, this was a 5,000 damage match, and I didn't win. He goes in front of me, I shoot, they're trying to slowly force their way up. KV2, boom, he hits the turret, and it does basically nothing. I miss a shot. The gun handling on this tank, you'll notice, is not the best. It definitely is a little bit lacking, which is why I installed the gun laying drive, which increases the aiming speed just a bit. Now I'm going to show you another situation where you want to try to show just the turret, advance to a forward position, and by moving pretty rapidly back and forth, you show them basically no weak spots, while pumping them full of damage. You'll notice how important APCR will be in this match, which is why I carry a decent amount of 7. Remember, because this is a premium tank, you're going to earn way more credits than you would in a normal tank, so spending a little bit of APCR is not a bad decision. In fact, it's rather wise. Well, it depends. If you want to grind out a lot of credits, then I suggest that you only use consumables that don't cost a lot of money, you only bring a little bit of APCR, you avoid using adrenaline and stuff like that, but that's not exactly the point if you want to win. If you really want to win, I'd actually replace my single repair kit with improved combat rations, or just better overall tank performance, move up to a forward position and absolutely nuke them with APCR and whatever else you happen to have on hand. Alexbuildit's ahead of me. I'm looking at their team composition. We should be the first ones there. And if we aren't, there's only one medium on their team. Not too worried about it. E50M shows up, true to form. I change to APCR. See the side of the turret? I fire, and because of the bad gun handling, it hits the mantlet and does not much. But thankfully I'm in the position where I'm only showing mostly my turret. Find a good spot right there. Shoot. I could have used armor piercing there, but I didn't want to spend a little bit of time switching between the two types of ammo, because they're rushing us right now, so see they're all coming. APCR, shot into the T-30 who's distracted. Armor piercing. You'll notice I'm rocking back and forth, trying to not show them any weak spots. Now here's a weak spot you may not have known. The top hatch of the T-30 and the T-29 are weak. As long as you hit the very top, even with AP, it should go through unless you're unlucky. It's not that thick, it's only like 60mm of armor. Switch to APCR because I really want to get this kill shot. I just missed it because of a slightly low roll. A top roll in this tank does 350 damage. Get a shot, end him, reload. Load that 100mm shell, which is still quite big. And knock out the T-30 as well. I see a low, I can't quite hit him from here, unfortunately he backs up and gets killed by someone else, which is good. I don't like the way that Tiger 2 is looking at me, so I back up. Tiger 2 is actually relatively accurate. He fires, he misses, I load APCR. I'm not sure exactly what I hit there. I did see that one of the two tanks over there had the bounce symbol, where the whole symbol turned black for a half second. That means you hit it, but it didn't really do anything. I fire right after he gets killed accidentally, wasting a shot, but, you know, it's the thought that counts. I move up. I just have to flank him. Because of bad handling, I don't hit the gun plate which I was trying to. Instead I hit the very thick armor next to the gun. I get behind, and now he's in big trouble. Yep, that's the end of that game, and we're on to the next one. Now we're in a very pleasant Himmelsdorf map. I had a 6 kill, 5,000 damage game recorded here, but the footage was so bad and choppy when I had really low settings on here that I decided not to use it because it just looked bad. So instead you get this game, which was really good till the end. Getting some shots. I don't know what happened there. That shot totally should have connected. I zoom back out, wait for it, get a nice shell in right there. Great damage, and we rush. Time to push forward. There's only 2 of them here, and we don't want to have them waste our time. We gotta keep pushing through this town. I see a T-25. Now watch. High explosive on T-25 is very effective. In a second you'll see it. I switched to high explosive because it has a very weak turret armor on the side. Not here, but the next shot. Bouncing shells because I'm properly angled, only seeing a very steep frontal plate which can get up to 400mm thick. There's a high explosive. Fire and do 360 damage. Pretty good. On the left I see the Hellcat. I'm kind of using him as a shield. I apologize for that. I move forward. That was not intentional. I move forward and I see the Type. Try to track him, which I do. The Hellcat's right there, kind of shielding me again for just a second. Type gets healed, he moves forward, and then I shoot right there again, tracking him in the exact same position he was before. I'm getting shoved from behind, and I need my allies to help me push forward, so I move into a position that's better. Look around the corner. Oh, hello, T-43. Get a nice shell into him. The high alpha damage for a medium tank is really, really good. If you really are willing to spend $50, this tank is totally worth it, guys. Get it while you can. Apologize for that bad language. There's nothing I can do about that at the moment. I'm not sure how to edit that out. I do not condone bad language. Get a shell into the Type 59. Even with APCR, there's a little bit of red showing that it could bounce. Move forward. It's 4-3. Not looking too good for us. But I am doing phenomenally. There's T-43. Oh, he bounces! How the heck did he bounce? And here's where I was kind of mean. I apologize, Hellcat. I did use a shield. Not intentional. I wasn't shoving you or anything, but I did kind of duck behind you, and he shot you instead of me. Apologies. And I tried to get out of there. Sometimes the better part of Valor is just don't die. Yeah, that was a cool move, Centurion. Sorry about that. But he actually... Oh, there's T-43. I end him. That was a cool move. I like it. LOL. Pretty funny guy. I'm sorry about that. Didn't mean to use him as a shield, but I did end up doing it accidentally. Now, relocating in a T-59, Type 59, is kind of a normal thing you'd end up doing in a T-54. If you find you're outmatched in one spot, try to get off the radar, but first I want to get rid of the guy following me. I knock out his turret. If you're getting followed and you think you're going to get creamed by too many people, just get out of there. Another thing you want to do after you get unspotted is to try to engage them singly. Because there's two people here, I only really can fight one at the same time. I get a shot, damages ammo rack, not good enough. I try to get the heck out of there now. Get unspotted and engage them singly. That's what you want to do if you're outmatched, and it's like a 2-to-1. Get to like the furthest corner of a map, and try to stay on the sides. If you go down the center, and they split up, they're easier to spot. So just try to drop off the radar. If they want to capture the base, fine. The base area is so open that it's really, really easy to exploit. You just get over, fire a shot, and get the heck out of there. I'm trying to stay as far away as I can from that center area. I'm also looking at the time limit. I only have 3 APCR rounds left. I'm going to have to make this kind of careful. Yeah, the M4A3E2 you see in the chat. I knocked out his turret, so he just drove right past and got creamed by me. Pop out. Is there anyone there? I want to try to engage them singly. I drive past, and I do spot someone. And he is single. This is perfect. Or at least so I think. I move forward, and this shot cost me the game. I miss. He hits the wall in front of me. I reload, and this is where I made a bad mistake. I should have just dropped off the radar and tried again. Don't do what I just did here. This is an example of what not to do. I just stayed in the same place. I fired, good shot, and he shot me. Overall, the Type 59 is, in my opinion, really, really, really good. I really enjoy it. It's like sort of a slightly nerfed T-54 at Tier 8. Get this thing while you can, folks. It's not going to be available for long. Who knows? You might never, ever see it again in shop. 4,000 damage loss, 55,000 credits with a non-premium account. I mean, that's pretty darn good, guys. Oh well, you can't carry everything. With this thing, if you have a good teammate who also uses Type 59, playing that, and you will cream them. I hope you enjoyed this kind of an in-depth look at the Type 59, its history, how to play it. Just gotta keep on moving, you gotta keep that turret in motion. You gotta take shots at flat sides with AP if you need to, spam APCR. It's a great credit maker. It's gonna be extremely rare once it's not in shop anymore. Enjoy it, guys. Alexbuildit out, Blitz on. Also, in other news, I am almost to 500 subscribers. Maybe I'll do a rare tank giveaway once we get there. Anyway, see you later, tankers.